Hello and welcome to another opportunity to attract the man of your dreams. And today, welcome to the opportunity to flirt with a man on the very first date. And to not just flirt a little bit with him, but to flirt with him in a way that makes him want to go on a second date with you, and that makes him want to go on a third date with you, and that makes him want a relationship with you. That's exactly what I want to show you today. And of course, the first tip, I don't even have to mention it. Dress up to impress him. However, what I have to mention in this regard is that if you are looking for a man for a relationship, then you should be focusing on dressing in an elegant way and not dressing in a hot and too sexual way. And now you might be saying, Sebastian, you're a dude, why are you telling me how to dress? I'm not telling you how to dress, that's totally up to you. I'm just telling you what science says. And scientific research says that men distinguish between women who are beautiful and elegant and women who are hot. And men automatically, even if they don't want it, subconsciously put a woman who they perceive as hot into the category of one-night stand short-term relationship, and a woman who's beautiful and who's elegant into the category long-term relationship. There's been several studies in the field of evolutionary biology that came to this conclusion. And that's also one of the reasons why I tell all of my coaching clients that they should be very careful with following Instagram trends, because a lot of Instagram models nowadays, they just show their assets in the camera, they do everything to be perceived as hot. And of course, as a result, thousands of guys send them horny messages. However, they don't attract the kind of guys that they actually want, the guys who are looking for a long-term relationship, in case they are looking for a relationship. And that's why it's important for you to think about, what do I want to communicate with my style? What do I want this man to think about me? In which box do I want this man to put me in? Do I want him to put me in the relationship box or in the one-night stand box? And I know that 99%, or maybe I should better say 100%, of my coaching clients want a long-term relationship, and a lot of them also want a long-term relationship that then eventually leads to marriage. And in this case, you might want to put yourself in the elegant, beautiful category and not in the hot category, because then you will attract men who are looking for a long-term relationship. And what you can also do in the first date is to give him a hug when you arrive, or when he arrives, in case you are there at the date venue earlier. And then use every second of this hug to your advantage. You don't just want to hug him for a second and say bye-bye. That's not what you want. Instead, you want to hug him, and you then want to hold him close. You want to make sure that he smells your perfume, and you want the hug to last a little bit longer than a hug between two friends, because then you communicate without being too obvious that you are interested in him and that you're interested in more than just friendship. And then when you enter the date venue, you can hold eye contact and smile. You can do that while you walk in together, or, for example, before you walk into the date venue, no matter if it's a lounge, a restaurant, or a cafe, you simply look at him, smile at him, and you then walk in. And in case he invites you in the date venue and he opens the door for you, then you can walk in front of him, and when you walk in front of him, it doesn't hurt to walk in a way that's a little bit seductive. You can swing your hips from side to side and turn his head into jelly while you're walking in the dating venue. And then when you're in the date venue, no matter if it's a lounge, if it's a bar, if it's a restaurant, no matter where you go, it's absolutely vital, important, incredibly important that you follow this rule. And that's a rule that almost nobody follows, and it's the sit next to him rule. Always sit next to him. And now you might be saying, yeah, but Sebastian, in every TV show that I watch, in every movie that I watch, people always sit opposite of each other during the date. Yes, and it's never a good idea. And I tell you why. I come from a business background. I have several successful businesses, and I know for a fact that people who are working in the purchasing department, they sit opposite of the person who they want to pressure with the price. They want to apply pressure on the situation. And in this case, it makes complete sense to sit opposite, because as human beings, we automatically create this energy of confrontation when we sit opposite of somebody. And this often happens without actually realizing it. So many people who go on a first date think, why do I feel so uncomfortable right now? That's weird. I really like this guy. Why do I feel like that? It might be because you're sitting opposite of him, and for him the same applies. That's why it's so important to sit next to him. And that's also why somebody from the sales department who wants to sell you something, who wants to make a good impression, who wants to build trust, never sits opposite of a prospect. Never. They always sit either on the corner, kind of next to the prospect, or directly next to the prospect. And you should apply the same strategy when you're on a date with a guy, because then you don't create this energy of confrontation that you would create if you sat opposite of him, but instead you create this energy of trust, comfort. And there's another benefit: when you sit next to him, you can also touch him, you can get closer, and you can use all these flirting techniques that then help you to make him want you even more. And then during the date, dig deeper when it comes to his professional life, but not in the way you might think. With digging deeper, I don't mean that you ask him, where did you study, where did you work before, what job title do you have? These are just facts. You want him to be seduced by you, and you can only do that with emotions. So instead of asking these factual questions, you can ask him, why did he decide to work in this field? What's his why? What's his motivation? What's his purpose? What made him do that? Why is he passionate about his work? These are the questions that will give him the feeling that you truly understand him and that you want to get to know him on a deep level. And this is very effective if you want to flirt with a guy on the first date. And then give him the opportunity to touch you when you feel like it. That's of course totally up to you, when you feel comfortable with him touching you. You can simply place your hand on the table, for example, when you're sitting in a cafe or in a restaurant, and then open the palm of your hand, open your hand a little bit until he then lays his hand in yours and he then holds your hand. And again, this can only happen in a natural way if you sit close to him, if you sit next to him. I mean, you can of course place your hand all over the table, lay your arm on the table when he sits on the other side, but this can often seem very unnatural, and that's why again it's important that you sit next to him. And of course, when you're then taking a walk in the park, or simply when you're walking down the street after your date, you can walk so close to him that he has no other choice than to hold his hand. And he wants to hold your hand, but he's too shy to do it. He doesn't know if you actually want it to happen. And if you then brush your hand against his hand, this signals to him, okay, I can take her hand, she wants it too. And then you can walk hand in hand with him in a romantic way. And what you can also do if you want to flirt with a man on the first date is to test his gentleman qualities and make him feel like a man. For example, if you're arriving at the date venue, you can wait until he opens the door for you so that you can then walk in the date venue, and like I said, you can walk in a very seductive way to turn his brain into jelly. And you can, for example, also during the date when you're outside, say that you're a little bit cold and just see if he gives you his jacket. And why is that so important? Not because you don't have your own jacket, not because you can't open the door. I know that you're an independent woman. However, men are biologically programmed to provide and protect, and these are the instincts that you will trigger by doing that. And then when you're already making him feel good by putting him in the position of being the protector and the provider, then you can make him feel like a hero on your first date. And if you use this combination, it's almost impossible for him to not fall in love with you. And that's why it's so powerful that you activate his hero instinct. Because when a man feels like the hero of his relationship, and he feels like your hero, and you provide him with this emotional rush during the first date, then he will be obsessed with you after just one date. And if you want to find out how 7 of my incredible coaching clients did exactly that, then you can go to gethimkeephim.com/obsession, or you can click on the second link in the description. And if you want to directly watch an explainer video that explains this incredible method in great detail, you can click on the first link in the description or go to gethimkeephim.com/video. And what you can also do during the date is to sprinkle a compliment every now and then in between the conversation. You can compliment the qualities that you admire in him. You can let him know that his jacket looks really good. You can let him know whatever you want to let him know. Just think about what values, what qualities you admire in him, and then give him a compliment about that. And yes, men love to receive compliments. It's not just women, men also love it. And then during the date, communicate your compatibility over and over again. No matter if it's about your values, about your personality, about the way you see your future, the way you want to design your life, Communicate to him that you are compatible with each other. And the more you do that, the more he will get the feeling, this woman not only understands me, but she also thinks like me. I want to make this woman my girlfriend. And if you enjoyed watching this video, if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section below. Share your opinion, share your thoughts. I would love to hear from you. And I would love it even more if you would hit the subscribe button and smash that notification bell so that you get notified whenever I release a new video for you. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video.